Hello and welcome back to Early Years Rocks. So following on from yesterday's video where we introduced ourselves, I'm going to be doing an activity today that you can do at home. It's most appropriate for children aged 2 to 4, but obviously you can do it with older children. You just adjust it to suit their age. So the activity we are going to be doing today is cress heads, and using the resources in our house to do this, as majority of us will be isolating and spending time at home over the coming weeks. So let's get started. The resources that you're going to need for this activity are yoghurt pots, so any shaped yoghurt pot. I've got a bigger one here that I've filled with the water that we're going to need, any pots, and I've got one here that I've made earlier that's actually in a sushi tub, so you can use any Tupperware that you've got available. So yoghurt pots are easiest because they stand up, and it's easier for your child to draw on as well. So I'll be using those today. You're going to also need either felt tips or paints if you've got paints, and I've got permanent markers, which obviously you'd use at your discretion. So I've got my Sharpies, I've got my yoghurt pots, and I've also brought, and I got these from the supermarket, they're only £1, the Cress seeds. Obviously you can probably get these online, get them ordered in. They are on eBay, I have checked, for about £1.30. So one pack goes around lots and lots, so we'll only need one pack. Just before I carry on, went into M&S the other day to just do a quick shop, and they are giving away, I don't know if you can see on there, some little gardener packs. So what they've got inside is a little biodegradable tub, and you've got the soil with the seeds in, and it's encouraging children to get involved with gardening and healthy eating as well. So the ranges that you can get are pansy, viola, forget-me-not, basil, parsley, lettuce, chilli pepper, beetroot, radish, pepper, carrot and cress. And the ones we've got are viola, and this one is beetroot. So I think you have to spend £20, but obviously with the situation at the moment people are spending. So we've got these two, which I will be planting with my nephews, and hopefully we'll see those grow next coming month or so. So we've got everything that we need. Oh, before I forget, you also need a little bit of water as well for the nourishment of the seeds. So now we've got all of our resources, we can start the activity. So what I'd recommend doing is, before you even start, explaining to your child why and what we do with them. So the importance of growing our own foods, making organic choices, growing our own foods as well, and showing them the life cycle. It's a really good way of introducing life and death really early on. It also is a really good environment for language and communication, and really just getting them involved and practical with it. It's also good for fine motor, which is the small finger hand movements that are needed for handwriting, etc. But by doing this, by pinching, by colouring, mark making, etc., it's all the skills that your children will need to be school ready and life ready. So that is everything we need so far and the reasoning behind it. So making sure that you explain what you're doing, and then also I'd recommend, and that's why I've got two, is doing one yourself so you can role model it, and then one for your child to do as well. So we use the one today and I can demonstrate that. So get yourselves your pens and begin to decorate, and as you're decorating it, talk to your child about what you're drawing, how you're drawing it, what colours you're using. That just exposes them to as much vocab as you can possibly think of. For the older children, you might be asking open-ended questions and involving them with a lot more vocabulary and a range, a lot more in terms of complexity, and expecting them to expand their sentences as well. So for example, if you've got the seeds and you're talking about the seeds, we put them in the pot because they need somewhere that's nurturing and warm to grow. Why do we put water? Why do you think we put water in there? So open-ended questions, allow them to use complex sentences, and allow them to develop. Obviously for the younger children, you'll be pointing out the key words, so things like pot, things like seeds and cress, also things like pen, and role modelling how to hold the pen correctly as well. Obviously that's something that's really important. They are assessed against that in early years. So these are all the kinds of things you can help to support your child at home whilst we're in the situation that we're in. So I am going to decorate my pot and I will come back to you once I have finished. Okay, so I've finished mine now. So I've decorated mine with hearts and flowers, and I've also put my name on it as well. Obviously if your child is a little bit older and they're beginning to write and use cursive handwriting, then that is something you can be doing, getting them to write on different materials other than paper and pen. I've also put a face on there. You can talk about emotions and how they might be feeling as well whilst you're doing that. And just really allowing them to be really expressive and using the materials in their own way. They might want to stick things on and add things to it, which is fabulous. It's a really good way of being expressive and creative. Okay, so the next step is we are going to wet the tissue paper or cotton pads, whatever you've got, and just insert it into the yoghurt pot. Now I would allow your child to do this, so role model it and allow them to do it, get them doing it independently, promoting independence, and empower them by being really supportive and encouraging with that as well. So it builds up resilience. So if we just dab it, and the water should spread through the tissue. Now you don't need a lot, as long as it covers the surface of the yoghurt pot. So you can see there, whoop, move that around. So you can see there, we've got the tissue in the bottom. You'll explain to them why we put the tissue in the bottom and how you think the cress seeds might grow, and then you can move on to adding the seeds into the pot. So again, you'd role model and you'd use pinchy action. You only do sprinkling, and again this is about measuring and allowing them to be in control of their own movements. So you can sprinkle it in, so you don't need very many. You've got to imagine that every single seed will sprout. So if we can just check that. So you can see there, maybe put a little bit more in. There we go. So what's nice with this is the children can check this every day, see where they're growing. For the older children, you might want them to be doing a cress log or a diary, or even getting them to film it if they've got a tablet or a phone that they've got access to, allowing them to film the progress. So it's incorporating all the skills such as technology, using different apps, or even just writing it. And you could maybe help them with that, support them with that if they're not at that stage yet. And it exposes them to how letters are written, and also if you're reading it back to them, they're hearing the words whilst looking at the words, so they're associating the sound with the word that you're saying as well. So really now, all you can do, and it can be quite addictive, so you might have a whole shelf full of yoghurt pots full of cress, is just watch and wait and see what happens and how it grows. So you can put that to one side and keep checking it. You might want to sprinkle it with some water every other day just to make sure that it doesn't die. If it does die though, it's a really good opportunity to talk to them about death and why things die and why we need to make sure that we're watering and keeping them nice and moist. So really there's loads of opportunities with this really simple activity. I've also put here as well, so we've got some bird seed that we use in the garden, and I've picked out some sunflower seeds. I don't know if you can see them very well. Just a few of them, and they can go into a pot as well. And again, you can get the children decorating the pot and assessing where the seeds are and how they're growing, why they're not growing. You might even, if you've got the space and the time, if you've got plenty of the, I don't know if you can see it, plenty of the seeds, what you might be tempted to do is put them into different pots and then put them into different environments. So maybe put one in the dark, put one outside, put one in somewhere that's really bright, somewhere that's really moist, and then don't water one of them, and allow them to experiment and see what happens to the plant in different conditions, and allow them to be the scientists It can be really exciting, and their little faces will absolutely light up when they can see it just emerging out of the soil. So that is the cress heads idea. Obviously they can decorate it however they want, and they can journal it however they want, but it'll keep them occupied and for days really, checking on how the progress of the cress is. Also, I have been planting myself, so we've done some cauliflower and some carrots, and in the garden we've got some potatoes as well. Again, if you've got the space and you've got the equipment in the house or in the garden, it's really easy. So with the potatoes, all we did is we had some that were sprouting, so we dug into the soil and have just planted them. We've done this previously as well and it's worked, and we've had lots of potatoes come from it, so we've not had to spend anything. We've got one potato from the bag that's sprouted, and it's produced lots of other potatoes as well. And again, it's a great opportunity to get the children out and about, especially considering we're not allowed to really venture out too far. So getting them in the garden, allowing them to be in the fresh air, get some oxygen, and also getting them in a different environment can really help. So if I show you the cauliflower and the carrot pots and just how small they are really and how far they can grow, and then we'll see where we'll go from there. So as you can see, the pot for the cauliflower isn't very big at all, and we will have to move this outside once they start to grow a little bit. But it's really as simple as that. So if you've got a bit of soil from outside, or you can pick bags up quite cheap from the supermarket or the garden centre, and all we've done is we've planted them, and we're going to observe and watch and see how much they grow. And in here, we haven't got the label on there yet, but these are carrots, which are really easy to grow. So if you've got anything big enough to start them off, any pots really, then it's a really good idea, and it gets the children out, gets them active, exposes them to a wide range of vocabulary. And as part of the early years outcomes, one of the areas of development is understanding of the world. So by exposing them to lots of experiences like this, you're enabling them to widen their knowledge of the world around them. So that is the end of today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed it, you've taken something from it. Any ideas are great, and if you've got any alterations or anything that you do differently, then please comment below, and also make sure that you're hitting the subscribe button as well, so you keep getting those daily videos and you'll be notified of them. But yeah, that's today's activity, making a cress head, decorating a yoghurt pot, and we will be updating and uploading as frequently as you can. So hopefully, if we do all go into isolation, it will be a little bit easier for us all. Okay, so till next time, keep safe, keep well, and thank you very much for watching.